You know, I used to think that The Crow was 100% safe from being ruined for me because it was made and left in 1994, which means that it's safe from DEI initiatives and ESG scores. But the more we talk about this reboot, the more I realize they're trashing everything I love, and yes, we're doing this again. Hi y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. Last week I made a video, I'd like to say discussing, but it was more like ranting, about the recently released promo images from the new The Crow Reboot. I did not write a script for that one. I just came up and spoke or yelled from the heart, and yet I got a lot of comments questioning certain points of view and certain things that I said. Some of my complaints are pretty consistent among fans of the original 1994 The Crow, so I thought, why not make a video diving a little more deeply into what exactly is wrong with this reboot from the eyes of the fans. But to make this one just a little clearer, I brought in my good friend, Chronically Online Jay, hi, to help us out with this one. I hate your dress, you should put those away. Yeah, that's not happening. Anyway, let me see if I can calm down a little bit so you guys don't call me hysterical. Good luck with that. I'm ready, let's do this. Why does it matter to you so much? You weren't even born yet. Yes, okay, I was born in 2000, and The Crow was released in 1994, so no, I was not even a twinkle in my father's eye when the original Crow released. But as far as I'm concerned, people argue about sports and books and movies and religion and all kinds of things that happened before they were born. I first watched The Crow when I was 11 years old, and it was a huge part of my life during my formative years, still is today. The fact of the matter is that The Crow has a lot of meaning to a lot of different people, regardless of age. It's that kind of story. Why are you so mad about this reboot? Really? Right, okay. We didn't want another movie about Eric Draven. In the comics and any other media about The Crow, Eric Draven was not the only one to be brought back by The Crow. There's a lot of different characters, which means that if they wanted to reboot/remake The Crow, they basically could have done any of the other established characters, or they could have come up with their own person. Brandon Lee literally gave his life playing Eric Draven. He died playing that character. So in my opinion, the same way they retire jersey numbers in sports for certain players, I 100% am of the belief that they should have retired the character of Eric Draven with Brandon Lee. Okay, but Eric Draven was a thing before Brandon Lee even played him. I mean, that's the guy from the comics, and realistically, the 1994 movie isn't even a true adaptation of the comics. You're totally right. So if they had reused the name Eric Draven and done this as a 100% true to-story adaptation of the comics, well, Brandon's Eric Draven and Eric Draven in the comics are two very different people. But the fact of the matter is that they're not even doing a true adaptation of the comics. They're just bastardizing the name of Eric Draven and still coming up with their own modern spin on the Crow's story. Why are you so mad based off like 3 pictures? Because this goes against everything The Crow is about. One of the most perfect things about that movie is that 90s grunge rock aesthetic. Okay, but that is outdated. I mean, look at real rock stars like Lil Peep and No, I'm gonna stop you right there. Eric Draven, at his core, is a simple guy. In the comics, he was a mechanic. In the movie, he happened to play in a rock band. He was not a rock star, he just happened to be a musician. So while you might call a big stadium selling millionaire guy like Post Malone a rock star, Eric Draven was not a rock star, he literally made rock music. So making him look like one of these modern day SoundCloud rappers covered in face tattoos, yeah, that really doesn't work for your average Joe, and it also doesn't fit in with Eric Draven's history of being a rock and roll guy. And don't defend the tattoos, you guys know that nipple eye thing is absolutely f***ing atrocious, and worse yet, the fact that the director of this movie took inspiration from guys like Lil Peep and Post Malone, it makes me worry for the soundtrack. One of the better things about the original movie is how great that soundtrack is, and sure, 90s grunge and rock is not entirely popular these days, but that's what fits in with the aesthetic. If all the music in this movie is gonna be trap, you can't remake something for modern audiences when a lot of the beauty tied to the original movie all lies in that aesthetic and the theme of the time. Okay, but how about this? The Crow Wild Justice? No, I've never read it, and I also hadn't even heard about it until I saw it on a Reddit forum, but I'm really bored and I really need to argue with you right now. That looks just like Bill Skarsgård. That's definitely what they're going for. Right, yeah, that's Michael Corby. That's not Eric Draven. Your argument is invalid. Obviously, you're gonna keep about the look, but who says the movie can't be awesome? In my opinion, the leaks that I've seen all over X, Reddit, and the rest of the internet have basically turned me off to this movie completely. The rumor mill on the internet basically says that this story places a huge focus on Eric and Shelley's love story. They're supposedly recovering addicts that fall in love in a rehab facility, and most of the movie is spent exploring their relationship. Their deaths come as a result of some shady shit from Shelley's past. The villains are going to have some sort of supernatural element to them, and Eric's vengeance mission is supposedly a way smaller part of the movie as opposed to basically the whole thing from the 1994 film. Again, this is all based on rumors. I am not confirming or denying that any of this is true. And the problem with that is... The problem is that all of that goes against what The Crow, at its core, is about. James O'Barr wrote the original The Crow after his fiancée was killed by a drunk driver. So essentially, it is the agony caused by addiction and substance abuse that gave birth to this story. So having both of our heroes very much in the midst of addiction, it doesn't really seem to fit the vibe. Now, the beauty of The Crow is that this relationship between Eric and Shelley that sparks the vengeance mission of a lifetime, it's painted out like a dream. In both the original comics and the movie, everything we see of Eric and Shelley, it's all the highlights. It's embraces, it's dances, it's kisses, it's the little things, the kind of shit that we normal people that are sick of Mumble fantasize about. The fact that this movie really wants to delve deep on their relationship in this rehab facility and all, to me it feels like when they pull the curtain back in Oz and you realize what you thought was magic really isn't anymore, and that really takes away from the beauty of the story. And my last point on this is that stories like The Crow work best when your protagonists are your average Joe and your girl next door, and the villains seem like the guy that could be in your very backyard. Bringing a supernatural element to the villains and making it where they have some sort of prior relationship to the protagonist, it really ruins that and takes away that sort of homegrown hero element that The Crow had. Just shut the up and don't watch it then. Yeah, I probably won't watch it because I don't want to give these people my money. I've loved The Crow since I was 11 years old. It's been almost 13 years and my obsession with it literally has not changed. But I cannot support when big Hollywood companies are just on a story that I love and basically desecrating the legacy of a young talented actor gone way too soon. I wanted to love this, but I can't, not in the direction they're going in. But I'm definitely not gonna shut the up though, clearly. Because that's not what I do. If the internet managed to bully the studios into fixing Sonic, well, maybe I can have my own small part in trying to change and rectify what they're doing with Eric Draven and The Crow. And maybe this property that we all know and love won't be tarnished by some 2024 modern audience bullshit. That's enough out of you. That's enough out of you. I've said what I had to say until we get a trailer. That's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram. And if you'd like to support me, my channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon. It would really help me out. I'll add links to both of those in the description below. And let me know your thoughts on The Crow Reboot in the comments below.